The movie begins at Hubert National Bank, where a team of elite Special Forces commandos, now turned deadly thieves, launch their first ruthless heist. Their leader strides straight to the bank manager and shoots him point blank in the chest without a second thought, sending shockwaves of terror through every soul inside. The thieves seize control with military precision, tossing a Bluetooth speaker into the center of the hall. A cold, commanding voice booms out, ordering everyone to hit the floor and keep their hands visible. Panic erupts as employees scramble to unlock the vault. In under 2 minutes, the robbers vanish with $3 million, leaving behind a motion-activated bomb and a final chilling warning over the speaker. Anyone who moves or calls the police dies in 15 minutes. The leader stares straight into the CCTV camera and blasts it to pieces before melting into the city streets like shadows. 25 minutes later, FBI Special Agent Jonathan Montgomery arrives at the scene, stunned by the clean execution and the single glaring clue, a fingerprint on the bomb belonging to a dead man named James, a former Special Forces operative. Jonathan's mind races. Why kill the manager so coldly when the robbery was flawless otherwise? He suspects a deeper motive buried in blood and betrayal. His frustration boils over when local police interfere, seizing evidence before the FBI can secure it. In a heated confrontation at the station, Police Chief Brian reluctantly reveals the fingerprint ties back to James, who 5 years earlier led a rogue team that kidnapped college students for ransom and murdered them when payment delayed. An army unit wiped out James and his men, except now a fingerprint from a ghost has resurfaced. Agent Wells brings new information. Ranger, James's younger brother, has an airtight alibi. He was spotted shopping during the robbery. Jonathan realizes the thieves planted the print deliberately to mislead. These aren't sloppy amateurs. They're playing a long, calculated game. Just as the team debates whether the robbers are foolish or genius, another branch of Hubert National Bank is hit. This time the thieves threaten the manager's family through an earpiece, forcing him to clear the building under the pretense of a breakfast break. A terrified female employee nearly triggers the alarm, but the manager intervenes. Once inside, the same commanding voice takes over via speaker. Yet strangely, they ignore the cash and steal only specific documents. Even more shocking, they treat an injured guard and have the woman bandage him, showing mercy where none was expected. The contradiction gnaws at Jonathan. Cold-blooded murder in the first hit, calculated compassion in the second. Why the selective violence? Rain pours as a third manager drives to work. A thief yanks open the car door, drags him onto the wet pavement, and drives a knife deep into his neck. Meanwhile, bank owner Jeffrey Hubert grows increasingly paranoid. The stolen documents contain his darkest secret, and he fears exposure more than the money loss. Jonathan interrogates the surviving manager, who casually drops a bombshell. Jeffrey, owner of thousands of branches nationwide, rarely visits small locations. Yet lately, he's been showing up at this exact branch every day at closing, personally inspecting the vault. The pieces start aligning. Serial numbers trace the stolen $3 million directly to a charity donation, information Brian conveniently withheld. Technical analysis confirms more fingerprints belonging to the dead James. Jonathan orders surveillance on Jeffrey, sensing the tycoon is the true target. At the funeral of one murdered manager, both Jeffrey and a local leader attend, highly unusual for small branch deaths. Suspicion deepens. A jewelry store guard provides a breakthrough. He noted the getaway vehicle's plate registered to Ranger. Brian orders Ranger's arrest immediately. At FBI headquarters, Jonathan discovers photographs slipped into a file, images of Jeffrey cozy with the local leader, clearly planted by the thieves themselves. He confronts Jeffrey directly at headquarters, probing about the tycoon's younger brother, a victim in the old kidnapping. Jeffrey stays ice cold until Jonathan asks about the stolen documents. Then rage flashes across his face. Security forcibly removes Jonathan, but not before he sees the fear beneath the arrogance. The thieves strike again, this time straight at Hubert National Bank headquarters. They infiltrate with surgical coordination, scaling cables past tight security and crowds. Jonathan, being escorted out, spots them and shouts for everyone to drop. Chaos erupts, gunfire explodes. An accidental FBI bullet hits a guard. Jonathan wounds one thief, who collapses, only to rise moments later and resume the fight. In the melee, Jonathan shields Jeffrey, then battles back. The thieves overpower him briefly, but he escapes with the injured guard. One thief executes a bodyguard against the leader's orders, earning a furious rebuke. A female employee is taken hostage for leverage. Tense negotiations unfold. The captured thief is exchanged. True to their word, the thieves release Jonathan unharmed and vanish. The dead thief's body yields no identity. Fingerprints wiped, teeth removed. Brian learns Ranger has surfaced. He and Wells arrive to find only Ranger's sister-in-law, Marta, who explains Ranger quietly supports the family with cash after James's death. Brian hides new intel that Ranger was spotted near an old house, likely the thieves' hideout. His wife's cancer treatments drain him financially. Greed and desperation pull him toward betrayal. The next morning, an anonymous file arrives for Jonathan, exposing Jeffrey's crimes in devastating detail. The file reveals the horrifying truth. Jeffrey orchestrated the old kidnapping to eliminate his brother and seize the family fortune. fortune. He fabricated terrorist documents, sent James's team on a fake raid, then had them labeled traitors after they realized the victims were innocent students, including Jeffrey's own brother. Jeffrey bribed officers and turned 3 traitors within James's unit into loyal insiders. 2 became the murdered bank managers, the third the local leader seen at the funeral. Some special forces soldiers survived that massacre. Years of guilt and rage consumed them. After leaving the military, the survivors united with one burning purpose: punish Jeffrey and his accomplices. Jonathan now sees Rangers' involvement in the donated money as part of their revenge. Media erupts, broadcasting the old injustice nationwide. Jeffrey panics, packing to flee. Jonathan anticipates the escape, ordering checks on Jeffrey's travel. He tracks a lead to a bar where James's old girlfriend worked, and there stands James himself, alive. Jonathan brings him in for interrogation. James denies leading the heists, but the evidence points to him as the mastermind. Brian confronts his corrupt officers at the old house, trying to stop their theft of the hidden cash. Greed blinds them. Police arrive. One officer dies in a shootout, the other surrenders. Jonathan learns Brian's men were caught. Confronting Brian, he uncovers Wells's file. Wells was part of James's original unit, quit the army abruptly after the mission, and joined the FBI, positioned perfectly to feed intel to the thieves. Wells is the true architect of the revenge. Jonathan orders his arrest. Stockwell locates Jeffrey, but arrives too late. Jeffrey escapes by helicopter. Wells unleashes furious gunfire at the fleeing craft. Stockwell tries to stop him, realizing Wells leads the group. A brutal fight erupts. Stockwell takes down several thieves before being knocked unconscious from behind. Police swarm the roof. Only wounded Stockwell remains. Wells and his team vanish. Brian recalls a map in Wells's car marking a location. They race there as Wells moves the money. Brian confronts him. Wells shoots but misses. Brian alerts authorities. Months later, a lead places Jeffrey in Mexico, and Jonathan knows Wells will follow. He goes alone. Face to face, Wells confesses the unbearable guilt that haunted him and his team since the mission. They realized mid-operation they'd slaughtered innocents on false orders. When only James remained alive, they faked his death to save him. But James lost everything: identity, family, freedom, forced into shadows in the country he served. The weight of murdering brothers in arms crushed them daily. Jeffrey was the architect of their torment. That's why revenge became inevitable. Jonathan challenges Wells on the innocents killed in their vendetta. The guard, others caught in crossfire. Wells breaks, admitting no intent to harm the guard. He was simply in the wrong place. They tried to save him. Tension peaks as they debate Jeffrey's fate. Jonathan admits betrayal once, but offers one final trust. He advances on Jeffrey, who laughs arrogantly, threatening legal ruin if harmed. Jonathan stabs him in the stomach without hesitation. Jeffrey's bodyguard draws, but Wells shoots first. Jonathan levels his gun at Wells. They stand frozen, years of pain and loyalty colliding in silence. Wells lowers his weapon, turns, and walks away, leaving his fate entirely in Jonathan's hands. The burden he carried for so long finally begins to lift as he disappears into the distance. Jonathan watches him go, gun still raised, torn between duty and understanding the depth of betrayal, manipulation, and vengeance that destroyed so many lives. If you were gripped by the raw betrayal, explosive revenge, and shocking twists in this Marauders recap, smash that like button right now to show your support, hit subscribe to Great Animation Recaps if you haven't already, and turn on the notification bell so you're the first to catch every epic movie breakdown we drop next. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming. Drop a comment below telling me, would you have let Wells walk away or taken him in? Your thoughts fuel these videos, so share them now and binge our playlist for more intense action thriller recaps that keep you on the edge of your seat. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.